Pro wrestling is not something that any person can do without any sort of in-depth training. The moves that they perform inside the ring are far from safe, and as they repeat time and time again, these are things that should not be tried at home. With this in mind, however, WWE often hire wrestlers without much of background in pro wrestling. Recent years have seen WWE casting out their net over the independent scenes, as a result of which some of the top talent independent stars have made their way onto the main roster, including the likes of AJ Styles, Shinsuke Nakamura, Seth Rollins, and Daniel Bryan. Despite this, some of the best wrestlers who have performed in WWE are those with little to no background in the sport. My name is John, and in this one we will talk about 10 wrestlers who have performed in WWE without a background in the field of pro wrestling. Baron Corbin is recognized for having an excellent moveset. When he first made his in-ring debut, he was anything except picture perfect, but since then he has improved by leaps and bounds. Before Corbin came to WWE, he was a champion in Golden Gloves boxing and also a football player. WWE has a history of football players making a big impact in the company, with Goldberg and Roman Reigns being two of the biggest examples that come to mind. Corbin was not experienced, and in 2012 he signed with WWE. He only had a few months to train before he actually made his televised debut. Considering his inexperience, it's not surprising that at the beginning of his career, it didn't look like he could be much. His match with AJ Styles and Dean Ambrose, and the moves he uses such as the Deep Six, have put all the doubts that the fans may have had about his wrestling prowess to rest. Carmella is a second-generation superstar in WWE. Her father, Paul Van Dale, wrestled in WWE during the 90s, but as nothing more than a jobber. Whatever that may be, wrestling was not the planned route for the Princess of Staten Island. She worked as a cheerleader, and then later became a dancer for the LA Lakers. Soon after, she attended a tryout with WWE, where she was signed to the company. At the beginning of her career, she had a mostly non-wrestling role as the manager of Big Cass and Enzo Amore in NXT. She soon made her in-ring debut, and when they were called up to the main roster, they went their separate ways. She would go on to win the first ever Women's Money in the Bank ladder match and held it for over 250 days before cashing it in on Charlotte. She defeated Charlotte and won the WWE SmackDown Women's title. The fact that Carmella is where she is without an extensive background in wrestling is a fact to behold. If there is one women's wrestler other than Charlotte who looks like she belongs in the ring, it's Naomi. A veteran wrestler now, Naomi has been in WWE for quite a while, and during that time she has been able to rack up a number of wins for herself. She is the winner of the first ever Women's WrestleMania Battle Royal and has held the SmackDown Women's title 2 times. Despite having obvious skills in the ring now, it is only after a decade with WWE that Naomi has reached the level she is at. When she first signed with WWE in 2009, she had a background in nothing but dance. Naomi was a backup dancer for the Orlando Magic basketball team, but since making the switch to pro wrestling, she has never looked back. She was part of the all-women NXT division and had to wait for a total of 7 years before she could claim her first championship in the company. A testament to the saying that patience really does pay off. I don't think too many people will be surprised to learn that Mojo Rawley does not have an extensive wrestling background. He was the 4th man in history to win the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal in what many considered to be a great shock to everyone concerned. When they gave him that win, it looked like Mojo was in line for some sort of push. That has not been the case. His only good singles feud has been with his former partner Zack Ryder after the two split up as a tag team. But even as a tag team, Mojo could not really come up with any sort of success. Mojo had a background in football, but not in wrestling. He had been rehabbing from an injury when he signed with WWE, opting not to go back to football. Although he has been able to capitalize on winning the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, he has proved he is not that bad of a wrestler, especially with his recent match with Seth Rollins. Mojo still has a long way to go, and his inexperience in the ring has not really helped him in any matter, shape, or form. Big E is a name that most people are not familiar with. One of the most intimidating performers by size, it is not because of his singles run that Big E became famous, but due to shenanigans that he pulls every week with the New Day. The New Day broke the record for the longest reigning tag team and are 4-time tag champs. In recent days, their shtick has seemed a bit old as the stable has been together for a while now. It looks like WWE might be thinking of breaking them up. If they do split up, there will be at least one star who will have no difficulty on his own, and that's Big E. Before coming to WWE, Big E Langston was a power lifter. In that career, he made a habit of breaking most of the lifting records. Although since he has left the sport, most of the records that he set have been broken. The time spent there definitely gave him the ability to be even stronger, and the strength has definitely helped him in his WWE career. The Usos are part of one of the most famous Samoan wrestling families. Their father was Rikishi and their uncles were Umaga and Rousey. Also, they are related to Roman Reigns and by a distant relation The Rock as well. Despite the bloodline they come from, it was not their natural aspiration to join WWE or become wrestlers. They used to work as furniture fitters before they came to WWE. When they saw that they weren't making any sort of progress in that life, Umaga took them on the road with them and got them an opportunity with the company. They were able to receive an opportunity to be trained, and since then they've become one of the hottest tag teams of the past decade. They've held the tag team titles multiple times, and although it is no longer a surprise, fans may very well be surprised to learn that the Usos were actually untrained before coming to WWE. The Miz is the top heel in the WWE at the moment. There is no other wrestler who attracts heat in any other way that he can. Every bit the cowardly heel, Miz has developed his character in ways that no one could have even imagined a couple of years ago. When he first came to WWE, he was no more than a reality TV star who had been spotted by the company. He was harassed backstage as most of the talent felt he didn't have the necessary qualifications to be with the company. The fans didn't really take much of a liking to him either, and honestly, he couldn't wrestle that well. Over the years, he's kept developing his style and is currently one of the safest and at times the best worker in the company. He has the ability to consistently put on good matches, and the fact that he was nothing more than an actor prior to this is just astounding. His feud against Daniel Bryan is one of the most eagerly anticipated feuds of recent years. Roman Reigns is the company darling. Every fan across the world knows that Roman Reigns is the star who the company sees as the face of WWE. Cena lost to him in a match at No Mercy, which was an effective passing of the torch. He made his debut on the main roster alongside Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins as part of the Shield. They soon became one of the hottest factions in the WWE, and when they finally split up, everyone knew it was only a matter of time before Reigns was pushed. Since then, Roman has gone on to main event multiple WrestleManias in the last few years, and he has taken part in the last 4 Mania main events, at WrestleMania 31 against Seth Rollins and Lesnar, at Mania 32 against Triple H, and at Mania 33 against The Undertaker, and of course at Mania 34 against Lesnar. While the reception might not be to the management's liking, there is no doubt that he has been a success in WWE, and with all of his success, it's easy to forget that Roman Reigns was actually pursuing a career in football before coming to WWE, and he had little training prior to signing. Ronda Rousey is one of the biggest badasses on the planet today. During her time in the UFC, she racked up win after win and became famous as the first ever undisputed bantamweight champion. Despite her success in UFC, it's easy to forget that pro wrestling and MMA are two completely different things. The two do not allow for the same rules, and with that in mind, while Ronda is a good grappler, there is much more in her moveset that leaves a lot to be desired. She has had very little training, with Natalya helping her out, and she could have a long way to go before she is considered proficient as an in-ring performer. Braun Strowman is definitely one of the hottest commodities in the company today. His popularity soared through the roof once he decided to make it his job to attack Roman Reigns. He took apart Reigns in multiple attacks and has proved to be one of the most dominant wrestlers in the ring. He has thrown around wrestlers like they are nothing and has taken apart opponent after opponent. Before he came to WWE, he had little to no experience in wrestling. The only thing that he knew was bodybuilding and strongman competitions. From there, jumping to WWE is not the easiest thing in the world, but Strowman has done it. It is only a matter of time before he wins the main event title, and he has already won the greatest Royal Rumble and is a former tag team title winner with a child. Despite this, he has a lot that he hasn't achieved. And that was 10 wrestlers who were hired with little to no pro wrestling experience. I hope you're all having an amazing day. Thank you so much for watching Wrestling Hub, and I will see you later with more wrestling videos.